Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to today's top tweaks video. Yeah, we have a lot to talk about in today's video. iOS 14 is coming out pretty soon. WWDC is this following Monday. So with this video, we're going to be talking about iOS 14. We're going to be talking about some free tweaks, and then we're also going to cover some paid tweaks. Now, I haven't really done a paid tweaks video specifically. Most of my videos that I've done have been covering free tweaks. If you guys are looking for a bunch of stuff to install, definitely check out our top 100 free tweaks video. Anyhow, if you guys want to check out what I have in store for you today, stick around and watch this video. All of the tweaks and sources are located down below in this video's description. Lastly, before we get started, please subscribe. We have some awesome content coming up relatively soon covering WWDC and of course more jailbreaking videos as well. So definitely subscribe, ding that notification bell, and turn notifications on. Anyhow guys, let's get into today's video. I'm going to go ahead and start this video off with some new free tweaks that have come out or have recently been updated. So one of the coolest tweaks of all time, in my opinion, it is now entirely free. I'll go ahead and demo it on this phone right here. Better CCXI to redesign the control center. This tweak is entirely free now. Super impressive work by the developer. I'm sure you guys have heard of this one by now. It used to be paid. Now you guys can install it entirely for free. So next up, I'm gonna actually go ahead and use this phone one more time. This tweak called No Clutter. If you guys take a look at my lock screen right here, a lot of the UI elements are hidden. Same with on the home screen. I don't have any page dots, my dock's hidden, icon labels are hidden. This is all done with one tweak called No Clutter. Now, if you guys see on all my devices in the background here, I'm using this tweak called Evanesco. So if I tap on the screen, it wakes the device and all my icons come back in. This is done with Evanesco. After a certain amount of time, the icons fade away when you're no longer using them. Even on this phone right here, I have it set a little bit different so the icons just fade a little bit. They don't actually completely disappear. There's a couple settings to choose from there, but Evanesco with an exclamation mark now has been updated for iOS 13. So if I'm playing Spotify or really any media anywhere, Mashuda Forever right here brings that music visualizer to your home screen, also to your lock screen and various places around iOS, and the color changes based on the album art. But anyway guys, that one's just recently been updated for iOS 13 and works super well too. Heading into the settings app, a couple tweaks here at the top. We have settings widgets, super cool to show the battery and the storage. Power options right here to quickly respring and perform other actions. So this is one of my favorite new, most useful tweaks, especially if you guys are installing multiple new tweaks at one time. And if you have a passcode on your phone with like Face ID enabled, this tweak called No Pass After Respring basically takes you directly back to the home screen after performing a respring. So check this out. I'll go ahead and do the respring, and just like that, we're back on the home screen. Vlogs and other things are loading, but I don't have to enter my passcode after installing something. Super useful tweak right there. So I used to be using this tweak called Real Keys to bring haptic feedback to like the keyboard. So like any key press that I when I tap on the keyboard, that would have haptic feedback. Now this new tweak called Buzz Lite basically extends that functionality when you're opening up applications, when you're selecting something, you'll get haptic feedback with all of these things that you're doing basically. So Buzz Lite, it's a brand new tweak to bring haptic feedback to various elements within iOS. So lastly, on the free tweaks game, this tweak called YouTube Reborn, super cool tweak. It basically replaces SirCube Pro, and it's a free version of it. If you guys are playing a video and you swipe up, it will keep playing the YouTube video in the background. Just a super useful quality of life tweak right there. Anyhow guys, those are some of the new free tweaks that I wanted to talk about. Let's shift gears just a little bit and talk about iOS 14 and some of the things that I would love to see in iOS 14 that you can do right now with jailbreaking. So the rumors around iOS 14, it's hit and miss on exactly what we're going to see in just a couple of days. But honestly, if Apple does like 3 things from this list of about 40 more tweaks that I'm going to show you guys, if they do 3 of those, that will make my day. Just a couple of quality of life improvements, ranging from that all the way up to just ridiculous things that you can do on iOS right now that are super, super cool. Let's continue the trend talking about free tweaks. These are some of the changes that I'd like to see in iOS 14 that you can do right now in iOS 13 entirely for free. So number one of all time, especially on the iPhone, this tweak called Auto Face Unlock. It used to be like Auto Unlock X, or a couple other tweaks have done that in the past. But if you guys lock your device, and right now I have Photon on, but if you wake it up to go to the lock screen right there, that's typically what you would land on when you wake the device. Well, the second my face is recognized by iOS, when it unlocks my device, it takes me directly to the home screen without actually having to swipe up. So super, super cool tweak right there. I really hope Apple actually makes that change in iOS 14. I mean, it's great on the iPhone, but it's even better like on the iPad. I can just tap and then bam, I'm at my home screen right there. Super, super cool tweak. Anyhow, guys, let me know what you think down below. Anyhow, guys, let's go ahead and continue on the iPhone. I really want the battery percentage up there in the status bar instead of the battery icon. It just makes sense. I want to see what my battery percentage is, and that looks really clean. I hope Apple makes that change. So one of the rumors in iOS 14 is that you can change your default applications. So like instead of using the Mail app, you can use Outlook. Instead of using Apple Maps, you can use Google Maps, things like that. Well, Evil Scheme lets you do this right now. Instead of using the Mail app, like I was just talking about, I can just select Outlook. And now my default Mail application on my phone is Outlook. So super cool tweak right there. I mean, just little things like instead of having to swipe up on every single application, you can just have a clear button right there to quit all of your applications. That's done with quit all. I mean, it's just little things like when I'm in the control center, like I don't need a notification that I'm in do not disturb mode. I don't need to see that I have no older notifications. Just get rid of both of those. Or like if I go to start a screen recording, well, when I start the screen recording, it puts my phone into do not disturb mode so I don't get any notifications during that screen recording. So just a little quality of life things like that. It'd be cool to see Apple add some customization, make the iOS a little bit more colorful. This is done with Color Me Notifs. Looks super cool. All of your notifications are also colored. The screen recording one is red based on the application color. So little things like that. Really, the last thing that's free that I kind of wanted to talk about iOS 14 changes is dark mode. Now, Apple did an awesome job implementing dark mode in iOS 13, but there could be a lot of work still ahead, and I'd love to see some more customization with dark mode. And I know this is going to get brought up at some point when I enable dark mode and talk about this, so I'm just going to start off with a wallpaper manager. So when I enter dark mode, I can have a different wallpaper. Now, that is one thing that's supposed to be coming to iOS 14. Not necessarily 2 different wallpapers, but a new wallpaper manager. So that will be interesting to see, but I cannot get over how cool that looks when you have kind of a light morning, light mode wallpaper, and then you have like a dark night mode wallpaper too. So super cool tweak. That's with Dynawall Light. Just other little things like Dawn, that lets you customize the light and dark elements, select your dock, your folders, your widgets, your notifications. You can keep those dark when entering light mode. It'd be really cool, like if you enter do not disturb, that dark mode is automatically enabled. Things like that. That's done with adaptive dark mode right now. And then this other really cool tweak that I have on this phone right here. This one is called Lights Out, and it actually enables dark mode based on the amount of light in the room. It uses your ambient light sensor to detect this. So like, say if it gets dark out and I cover up my phone, we'll check that out. We're in dark mode then. And when it gets light again, then we're in light mode automatically without you having to toggle anything. So further customization like that for dark mode would be awesome. The very last thing I'd love to see in iOS 14 that's free. I'm really surprised Apple hasn't done this for these older devices that have a home button. They've done this with older generation iPads, but you have that native like swipe up ability to enter multitasking. You have control center from the top right. You have a new status bar layout right here. I really like how like Gestures 11 or Little 11 treats this. It basically brings all the iPhone 11 functionality to these older devices. I mean, you can still use the home button, but at least you have the gestures there too. So I'd love to see that little update done to older devices that still support iOS 14. So here it is, guys. Here's kind of my mini edition of a top paid tweaks video. The next thing that I want to talk about are some things I'd love to see in iOS 14, but these do come at a cost. Now, I will say I saw an awesome Reddit post the other day showing you free alternatives to these paid tweaks and their drawbacks. So if you guys want some of this functionality for free, I'll link that down below in this video's description as well. But all of the tweaks going forward are going to be paid. You know, they're like $1 or $2. It's not too bad. And I'm not promoting or not suggesting that you buy every single one or any of these. But if you guys happen to see one that you like, definitely check it out. Again, I bought these tweaks, so you guys didn't have to if you don't like them. Anyhow, without further ado, let's go ahead and continue this video talking about some awesome paid tweaks that are out there for iOS 13. So last year, Apple redesigned the volume HUD right here so it's not in the center of the screen and it's less obstructive. I'd love to see that same treatment with things like Siri. This is done with Erase. Yeah, pretty close. So basically, Siri just no longer takes up the entire screen. You just have it contained in this little portion right here. I think this tweak does an awesome job at that. Keeping the theme going, Scorpion redesigns the calling interface. So again, it doesn't take up the entire screen when you're on a call. And lastly, we have AirPay. Again, same idea, just with the Apple Pay interface. So this tweak called Dawn is a notification tweak. Look at that. It includes the notch with the notification. I think that looks super sweet. I'll go ahead and send another test from this phone so you guys can take one more look at Dawn. Look at that. Super awesome tweak. Along the lines of notifications, still we have Court, which redesigns the notifications so they're super rounded, kind of like Prism. We'll get to that in just a second, but super awesome notification tweak right there. So I guess we actually are going directly right into Prism. So check that out. I'll go ahead and enter dark mode so you guys can take a closer look at Prism. It's a redesigned control center. Everything's super rounded. It takes up the right amount of space that it should. Your volume sliders right here. The only other tweak I'm using here that's paid is Magma Evo to colorize the control center. But other than that, Prism is your one-stop shop for a new control center. Widgets on the home screen with V-locks. So I can expand widgets just by clicking V-locks, and let's go ahead and click small size, something like that. So now I have my weather right there. And this tweak does an okay job at this. It's not the most stable tweak out there, but it definitely has gotten a lot better in the past few updates. But that is something that is rumored to come to iOS 14 is widgets like Spotify, Apple Music, basically any application can be expanded on your home screen. So it would be really cool to see if Apple actually redesigned the home screen layout to a different grid layout or something entirely different from the grid. But for now, we have Home Plus Pro to do that on iOS 13. There is a beta that's free for this, but Home Plus Pro has a new user interface and it works super well. Now this would be super cool to see in iOS 14 is Multipla. So you have multiple docks on the bottom right here. I can quickly pull up weather, music controls, power modules, and then I can just hold and tap to go back to my apps. Super useful tweak right there. All right, so these tweaks are not really in any order, but this next one, this is one of my all-time favorite ones that I would love to see in iOS 14. So let's go to the lock screen, and I'm gonna go ahead and lock my device. Now this tweak is called Photon, and it basically brings this always on display interface. Now I have mine set to only be on when it's charging, so it will eventually turn off, but this tweak does a super awesome job at creating a really unique and cool looking always on display. It actually takes inspiration from the Apple Watch, and so you can have the Apple Watch clock right there. You have a dot at the very top of your screen letting you know that there's a notification. But this tweak works super well with complications, which again, another Apple Watch inspired tweak. It brings the Apple Watch complications to the lock screen of your iPhone. And then there's this new tweak called Kai right here at the bottom that shows my battery percentage of my iPhone. But check this out. When I go ahead and open up my AirPods and I turn my device on, once it recognizes, there we go, it shows the battery percentage for all my devices right there. Super cool tweak. Now, one free one that I forgot to mention, I'll go ahead and mention it right now. Let me go ahead and put my AirPods in though so I can demo this tweak. This is one thing, if you guys have AirPods Pro, that you're really going to appreciate. Check this out. When I'm in the control center, I can actually toggle on and off transparency mode just like that with a button instead of having to go into that UI. So I can add it right to the control center. So Animations Be Fast Plus does exactly what you would think it would. It speeds up the animations for opening and closing apps, navigating through settings. It basically removes all the animation from your guys' iOS device, but you guys can do a ton of customization with this. You can choose what animations to speed up. It's super well designed tweak. It is paid, but it works really well. So another Face ID tweak, that's why I took it off the stand, but BioProtect XS lets you protect your applications with Face ID. So along with unlocking your iOS device, you can also lock applications with Face ID and a passcode. Now check this out, this is my Messages app. I only have a couple threads right here, but that's because of groups. I can sort my message threads based on their relevance. I have work, family, friends, things like that. So I can keep my Messages app super organized. Anyhow, super cool tweak. I use this one a lot. And again, this one's called Groups. So you guys probably saw this one earlier as I was skipping through Spotify. Well, this tweak called Melted Crayons creates this awesome gradient background based on the album art colors. And then heading to the lock screen, we have Flow to bring this music widget right here, where you can quickly swipe to the next song. It's an entirely redesigned complication on your lock screen. It looks super cool. Right below that, we have Next Up To. You can choose the song that's coming up next. Super awesome tweak right there. So if I don't like some of these, I can see which one I want to come up next, and that one will come up next automatically. Very lastly, this one's gonna be kind of hard to demo, but this tweak called Roadrunner will actually keep your music playing when you perform a respring. So if I perform a respring right here, my music will still be playing in the background through the entire duration of this respring process. So it seems like every year Apple does something to multitasking, but it'd be incredible if we saw something like Gesto. I know this tweak has been out forever, but it just does multitasking so well. You can get a glimpse of all of your cards that you have open. You have quick access to the control center. And again, you can even close all of your open applications just like that. So this is kind of an old school one, and I highly doubt we'll ever see this on iOS, but Zenith to hide other applications behind a main one. I use this all the time for my social media. I usually group Cydia under the Settings app. It's super useful. So don't think we'll see this one in iOS 14. This one's kind of jailbreak related, but I wanted to include it in the top paid tweaks video because it is one I use all the time. Safe Shutdown. Basically what this will do is it will shut down your device and put it in ultra low power state when your device gets to a set amount, say 2% is what I have mine at. And basically it will make that last 2% last for a couple of hours. So when I plug my phone back in, I'm already in the jailbroken state. It never actually completely shut down. It was the tweak that was saving extra battery. So use that one all the time. It's super awesome if you guys run out of battery quite a bit. So again, with multitasking, I showed this tweak off once before, but it's called Arc, where you can access multiple things like the Messages app. It kind of reminds me of a different accessibility menu, but I think it's really cool that you just swipe out and you have like this fan grid of a bunch of different things to do. So this is a minor UI change, but Floaty Tab puts the bottom navigation bar in this floating tab layout. I think that is absolutely incredible. It looks great on the App Store. And again, just these minor UI changes would be awesome if Apple considered those for iOS 14. So this would be super cool to see in iOS 14, probably more so on the iPad than iPhone, but I could still see cases where this is useful. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about a guest profile or a second profile for your iOS devices. So right now I'm in my main user account right now, and I'm accessing that by swiping up and entering my regular passcode. So I have access to all of my apps. Well, check this out. Say if you want to hand your phone off to your friend, you just enter a different passcode, and then the only application they have access to is the phone app, or any application that you allow them to have access to. And then to get back into your entire phone, you just enter your passcode once again, and all of your apps are there. So this is done with Lend My Phone 3, but that'd be super cool to see in iOS 14. So yet another application here that I'd love to see in iOS, more so on the iPad than the iPhone, but and there have been tweaks that have done this in the past. Let me just tell you what I'm talking about. I'm talking about using two applications at one time on the iPhone. Now this brand new tweak called Milky Way 2 does exactly this. So when you guys are in the multitasking pane, you can just hold down on a card, and right there you have a movable window of that application. And you can have multiple windows open at the exact same time. So right here I have one of YouTube, one of Safari, and I can still access whatever is going on in the background. And these windows are resizable. It's a super unique take. It obviously takes inspiration from macOS. You can kind of tell that by the bar at the top. But anyhow, guys, Milky Way 2, that is going to be the tweak that concludes this video. Those were some of the top features that I'd love to see come to iOS 14, both paid and free. There was kind of a few tweaks that were paid that were jailbreaking related thrown in there as well, because I really haven't done any videos on paid tweaks. And again, we started this video off with 10 new free tweaks that just recently came out or were updated for iOS 13.5. What a video, guys. That took a long time to make. If you guys appreciated it, definitely hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, all that stuff. Again, if you guys want to check out these tweaks in more detail, they're all located down below in our Best Tech Info article. Thank you guys so much for the incredible support. I'll see you again real soon. But until next time, this is Tony signing out.